Hello, good evening. My name is Mohammad Asim. Welcome back to the channel. Today tutorial we are going to cover a deployment of Python based application, which is simple web server, a web application which is going to display some of the content which we configured in the code level, right? And this is a Python application which is built with Flask frameworks, right? And we are going to create one CICD pipeline for that, and we are going to define some of the steps to create continuous integration and continuous deployment, right? And we required a cloud hosting, right? We required infrastructure hosting. For that we are going to use AWS services, right? We are going to create one EC2 instance. With that EC2 instance we are going to install Docker, because we are going to containerize our application. From the Docker we are going to write a Docker file. From that Docker file we will create one image. From that image we are going to create a container, right? So the Flask application with the Docker, it will be complete one application, right? And it will be accessed through web browser. So let's go and see our architecture diagram. If you click it over here, if you see here, the code is pushed to the Git, from the Git to the GitHub, and from there we are going to have an EC2 instance. In the EC2 instance we are going to install one CICD tool, that is Jenkins. From the Jenkins, whenever we'll build we configure, we add the GitHub URL. From there it will fetch all the code which is resident in the GitHub, right? And it will move back, it will save the code in the defined directory. From their directory, what we will do, we will write a one Docker file. With the Docker file we will create a Docker container, and the container will be exposed on a defined port which we will define in the process, and that can be accessed through the browser. Okay, and the browser is a client, the user are the clients, and the application is the server, right? The client and the server, the communication should be always encrypted way. So we are going to use SSL certification, right? To host our application we are using Nginx as a reverse proxy web server that we are going to install in the same instance. So this complete flow, let's go for the lab, and we will cover all the things. So and one more point, don't forget to subscribe my channel to get latest updates on all the DevOps related, DevSoc related, and the cloud related tutorials. So don't forget to share, subscribe. It will be whenever the video is uploaded, you will be get a triggered notification, so though no tutorial or the video will be missed out from your end. And the thing is that I have a 90% of viewers which are not subscribing to my channel. So my humble request, please do subscribe. It will help me to grow as well as you to grow, right? So it's between you and me. Please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, let's go and configure one EC2 instance. So let's go and click launch instance. I will give it as Python app, right? Python app 2, or let's say 3. Okay, and I will click Ubuntu operating system. Then I will go with the 22 version, Ubuntu as operating system, right? Architecture to default, and I'll go with the T2 small, because it's a containerization, so we require minimum 1 CPU and 2 GB memory of our VM machine, that is EC2, right? So I will just check, and I'll create a one key pair that I will write it as Python T, right? And I'll click create. It will be downloaded in the download folder. Then I'll keep VPC default, subnet default, and auto assign public IP. For use case I will just allow HTTPA, and I will allow HTTPS because later on we are going to access through the browser, and I will allow HTTP also, and I will keep it 10 GB because I need storage. So this is click install. Okay, if you don't have the account, you can follow my this tutorial how to create a free account with AWS on my channel. There you can create a one free account, AWS account, right? It will be available for 12 months. Okay, so this is how you can configure. Our EC2 instance is getting initiated, so let's go and access. So to access our server, to access our VM, what we will do it, we will use third-party application. So we were going to create access through the third-party application. So in my case I'm going to use Mobile Extreme as a third-party application. Just I will save it here. Let me copy the IP. I'll copy the IP over here, then I will paste it over here, then I will specify Ubuntu, right? Then I will click it over here, private key, then I'll give the path where my key is there. So this is a key which I have downloaded just now. Click OK. So it should initiate the authentication and it should communicate with my EC2 instance. So it's successfully logged in. If you check here, it's saying that Ubuntu, you as a user, you have logged into this IP EC2 instance, right? And it's saying that this is a IP address. Fine. So the first step, what you have to do it, you have to update the packages, sudo apt update, right, -y. So it will update the packages. The second step, what we will do it, we will go and install Jenkins on Ubuntu. Just click on this. So the documentation there, my is Ubuntu, right, operating system. So prerequisite of Jenkins is to install the Java. So I will copy these 3 commands. I'll go to the terminal, then I will paste it over here. Fine. It will fetch all the keys dependency of Java, and it will install the Java on my VM. So if I just check, so it will take few seconds, then let's go and check the document. After that, we are going to install LTS version of Jenkins, the stable version. So always recommend to go with the stable version. So just I'll copy, clicking over here, then I'll go back here. After this completion, see the Java version is over here, the install version is 17.10, right? So I'll paste the commands which I have just copied. So it will start installation of the Jenkins. Hit enter Y. So the Jenkins is getting successfully installed. Just wait for the few seconds when our system will be up and running. So I'll go back down, then I will enable this Jenkins. Before that, let me enable the Jenkins over here. So the Jenkins is installed. Then I will take the command over here, then I will hit enter, then I will check, just click here, then I will enter. So it will show me the status of Jenkins. Jenkins is active and running. So let me go and access EC2 instance. Let me go here, then to the security group, because I have to enable the security group 8080 port, right, for the Jenkins. So I'll go quickly over here, then I'll go for security. Security group, click on the security group, then git edit inbound rules, then add an inbound rule of 8080, right? So I'll save it over here, then I will click it over here, right? So our server, our firewall security group is enabled. Let me copy this here and let me paste here 8080, then you will be redirected to the Jenkins. Okay, then it's showing the where the path, where is my password is available, right? So I'll use the sudo command because I'm the Ubuntu user. Sudo cat is a command to see the password, right, any content in the file. So in the initial admin password, there is a one password over here. So I copy it, then I will be pasting over here, then I'll click continue. So it's recommended to install some plugin. By the default, just click here, so it will getting installed. So we'll wait for the few seconds, let this all the plugins get installed. Till that plugins get installed, let's go and see the framework of the Flask. This is where welcome to documented, this official documented of the Flask frameworks which is used in the Python, right? And even in the document also I have mentioned that what is Flask, and this is lightweight framework, flexible, extensible, right? It has multiple extensions, and it is built on Verzook, right? And it has used utility library Jinja Jinja 2 and template engines, right? This is a performer tool for the web development. So this is a Flask framework used for the web development by the Python, using Python language, right? So let me go and see is my plugins get installed or no. Plugins has been installed. Then what I will do it, I will create a username, then I will give the password, right? And then I will give repeat password, okay, and I will give the name, anything that is convenient, right? So this name will be used So I'm creating a user as administrator, right? So save one file. Let's use the Jenkins. Now if you go, we are going for the access of the Jenkins dashboard, right? So if you check it over here, if you click the new item, then you can create the pipelines, CICD pipelines, the build history. It will show how many builds have been done. Manage Jenkins, where you can configure multiple things that you can add the credential into this Jenkins. You can add the plugins. You can add different environment credentials. You can add tokens to it. So this is how you can manage. If you click here, you will see a lot of options which you can do it. You can update global credentials, tools you can configure. You can add plugins, appearance. You can add master slaves. You can enhance your security credentials. You can add user management also. Okay, in our use case we are going to click on the new create item. So I'll be creating Python, just I will name it as Python app, right? Let me give it small p Python app freestyle project. Click OK. So we are going to create a CICD pipeline, CICD pipeline, right? So I will say discard and I will keep maximum 2 builds. I'll get it git, then I have to give the path of the repository. My repository URL is over here. Just copy this. This is where my code is resist. Okay, just give the URL of the repository, right? Credential I don't require because uh, my GitHub repository is a public. Okay, so just go, and the branch name is main, because my code here, the branch which I'm going to clone is a main branch. If you check it over here, you will see that the branch name is main. Fine, then I'll keep 0, then I'll not going to trigger anything. Delete workspace before build. Okay, I will just add this step. Okay, save. The first build we are going to just for the continuous integration, in the sense we are going to try to clone. If you hit the build now, it will start creating a build, right? So it will fetch the code, it will clone my repository, and it will save in my EC2 instance. If you check, if you click here, the green indicates this trigger is successful, right? The build is successful. It's showing that started by the user Asim, because I'm logged in as user, and the work it have created one directory, a workspace. In the workspace is have created Python app, because we have given the name of the pipeline, the initial configuration Python app, right? So here all things it have fetched from this URL which I have given, repository URL. Fine, let's go and validate. Do we have any Python directory created in our EC2 instance? So cd is a command to go to here. If you ll over here, you're seeing yes, there is a one Python app, right? So if you ll over here, then you will see multiple files, the code files which we have written, right? If I want to see app.py, just click here. It has used like some text to display on our application when we access. Welcome to Asim YouTube destination complete, and it's using a hosting 00 wherever you want to, and the port mapping is then 7000, right? And if I check like run py, because we are using a run command, so it's showing that import app and it can host the same way, right? And if I see what requirement, what are the dependencies required, so we required Flask this version, because our application is built on this Verzuk, this one, right, which I mentioned in the document also, right? We are using Verzuk, right? Verzuk on which this framework is built on, right? So this is how completely our code visible, right? And we have already written one code Dockerfile which we have configured before. So what we are using Python image, and we are creating one app directory. We are mentioning app directory, and I'm copying this all content to the Dockerfile, all this file to the Docker, Docker image. From there we are going to install all the dependencies which is in the requirement.txt. Then we are going to expose this application on 7000 by using the command cmd run command python run.py. Okay, so this is how you're going to run. But the thing is that we are going for the Dockerized way, right? Because if I go for my architectural drawing, we are saying that we are going to containerization of our application. So for that we required Docker to be installed. So let me go to the router here. Let me switch to sudo access. Then if I check docker-v, so you will see that there is no Docker installed. So what I'm doing, I will install the Docker, click here, then I'll give it -y, so it will install the Docker on my EC2 machine. So it will take few seconds and it will be installing Docker on my machine. Okay, and after that we have to give some of the permissions which I will be adding over here, right? So what we are saying that please add Ubuntu to the Docker group, right, and Jenkins to the Docker group in order to don't have any other issues. So let me go with the Docker sudo Jenkins, fine. Then afterwards let me exit to become the Ubuntu user, right? So from the Ubuntu user I will run this command, docker add Ubuntu. Okay, docker add Ubuntu user Ubuntu does not exist. Ubuntu, okay, I have mistyped Ubuntu. Okay, Ubuntu, fine, hit enter. So we already added that. After that what we will do it, we will check the group of Jenkins. So let me add sudo because I think this will be an issue. So it's showing that Jenkins and Docker, right, in the Jenkins. So after that what we will do it, what I will do it is that I will add some of the permissions because we need to give Docker socket. In the runtime there will be some issues with that, so we are giving some permission 6601, right? This is a permission related to read, write, execute permissions. Okay, and the path of this is a var run. There is a one docker dot socket is available, the file that we have to give the permissions to that. After this done, so what we have to do it, we have to restart our server. So what I will do it, just I will restart my Jenkins. So when you restart the Jenkins, then we have to log in with the credentials which we have created while configuring the Jenkins. Okay, so let me just wait few seconds, let Jenkins get restarted. Okay, the Jenkins is restarted. So if I go click here, it will be redirected to me to the login page. So let me access with my credential. So I'm inside that now, right? So now I'll go quickly to the my configure stage. Then what I will do it, I will add, now we are going to create a Docker file of create a Docker image out of Dockerfile, right? For that what I will do it, I will add two steps. Okay, I'll go back down over here, then we will be able to see build steps. So here execute shell, because these are shell commands, just I will give over here, I know it's sudo, then I will say that echo image is created, right? Then afterward I'll use echo command, then I will say that application is live, access with IP and 7000, because we are mapping with 7000, right? So we are giving that tag name for the image Flask app latest, and for this image itself we are creating one container and we are mapping 7000 4000. Just I will save it, click apply and save it, right? So now what I will do it, I will build over here so that it's getting triggered. So let me go and monitor the console. So it's saying that yes, it's already initiated, one image is created. In that it's fetching the Python image from the GitHub. Okay, and it's verifying, then it's fetching the dependency from the requirement.txt which we have asked, right? We have mentioned to Flask version and Verzuk, right? And the Ninja also, on which is the build. Then afterwards is going for the next command, right, which we have already added, then cmd python run.py. So it's showing that one image is created with the name successfully tagged flask.this, and the build id also gets image id, right? Image id is there. And then what happened, what is that, we have given the command just to run this docker image. From the docker image, create one docker container, docker, right, from the docker container. Okay, map 7000. Okay, So I is showing that a finish successful. So now how do we validate? Before validating that, you have to go and add the one configuration rule, firewall rule, right? Then I have to enable 7000, which we have, our application is hosting on that. Just save over here. Okay, so if I go and copy my IP, which is IP over here, then paste it and give colon 7000, right, hit enter, you should be able to see successfully our application is working successfully, right? So now if I go and configure, let me switch to root user. Okay, Docker PS, my application is accessing via browser, right? Yes, one container is working, which is up in one, created 1 minute ago, and status is running, and the port we have mapped 7000 to 7000, right? And it's up and running, right? So it's already mentioned from 1 minute is up and running. So this is how you know it. If you check the Docker images, you should be able to see two images over here. One is a Python app, and the one we have add. Python is fetching the Python from the git from the Docker hub, and the Flask app of our code. Okay, these two images, from these two images our container is created, application container is created. So if I want to check net stat of my application, so it will show you that okay, fine, yes. If I zoom here, yes, see on the 7000 one application working, that is for the Docker. So we are created Docker container, is it saying Docker, and it is using containerize, so it's using this path, right? So here 808 is on which Jenkins is working. Java, Jenkins is built on Java, right? So Java is working. This is how you make it. So now the point is that are you able to give this IP address and port number to the users? No, you're not going to give the IP address and the users to IP address and the port number to the users. So what we are going to get, usually the Google is giving the URL google.com, like sbi.com, icci.com, any traveling agency.com, right? So how they are going to give it to the customers, to the users? So as a usual, the human nature is that if any person is born, then we'll give a definite name to them, so that you should have in the knowledge this person is represented with this name. The same in the IT infrastructure, your all the application or web servers, any application, to access that one URL has been given. So what we are going to do it, one URL we will define it. So how we are going to define for that use case, what we are going to do it, as we mentioned before, we are going to use Nginx web server. So I'll go quickly over here, and I will just take the command from here, and I will install the Nginx on my EC2 instance. If you check over here, Nginx-v, you see that there is no Nginx, right? So I will click here, so it will install Nginx. After the installing the Nginx, we will create one Nginx configuration file with our domain or URL which we are going to create, right? I will use the same second command. Now is successfully install 1.18 version. So let me go the default path of Nginx configuration, right? How you know that Nginx successfully deployed is that whenever you just remove this and hit here, you should able to see that Nginx, welcome to Nginx. That means your Nginx is configured successfully, right? Fine. But now I want to do it that whenever I hit IP address or the URL, my application should be accessible, right? So for that use case, I will come here when there is a one default file which is default. So in our use case, we will create one nano.asim.com, right? Then I will hit enter over here. Then what I will do it, I will go quickly and I will take the code from here. Then I will edit the code. I will give the local host IP address, right? 7000 proxy, everything. I will copy over here. Just let me add here app1 dot asim cloudtech asimcloudtech.com, right? This is a configuration, so I'll just save it. Then I'll go back to my terminal. I'll save it over here. Let me see app.asim reverse proxy to whatever this on this EC2 instance, whichever application is working on 7000, that should be accessible through this URL. Okay, just Control X, enter Y to exit, save and exit. Okay, if I check if there is a syntax error, just to check it out, nginx -t will check if there is a syntax error. So it's showing me that there is no syntax error. After that, what we have to do is we have to create one symbolic link. Okay, so in this case I will create one symbolic link, right? This is a pre-request from nginx. So what I will do is I'll just give my file name which I have created, and I will just hit enter. What is done is creating a symbol links between site available directory, whatever is there, files are there in this, it should reflect on site enable. So I will show after this. Okay, let me just validate if there is any error. So it's showing me that successfully there is no error, right? CD, I will move back to site enables. So if you ll over here, you will see that asim.com also is here, and it is symbolic link with site available. The file is available in is exist in this site available directory. Okay, this part is done. So now do I able to access my server, right, with the code app 1? So it show you that no, it's not acceptable. The reason is that we have not added the server IP and the domain in our hosting. So let's go to godaddy.com. Okay, then I will have existing one, so I will click over here, then I will add app1. So let me see, yes, app1. Then I will remove this here, the IP address. So I'll go back to EC2 instance, then I will copy the public IP of this and I will paste it over here. So I'm creating the A record with the subdomain name app1, and I'm giving the server IP. Click save. So it's updating DNS record. In few seconds our URL or the domain will be mapped with this server. So now if I go and check over here, so I should be able to find it. So now the thing is that we have only HTTP access, right? So here, let me, why it's not configuring, let me go and add over here http asim.com. okay, by default what happened is taking nginx.com, right? So let me go and cd/site availables. Let me check, did we do anything wrong over here? asim.com. okay, where our host 7000. let me see one more time on which. Okay, fine, we added this configuration, but we have not restarted the Jenkins, right? This was a possible error. So let me restart ctl restart nginx. Fine, so it will restart your web server. So now whatever we have done up to now, the configuration, like creating nano asim.com configuration file and making symbolic link and everything, will be reflecting now. So if I go over here and refresh, I should be able to see now. See, so we did a one mistake, that we have not restarted our application, right? Our web server application, right? Nginx web server. So now the thing is that it is showing that not secure. So your connection and to the site is not secure. The connection between this web browser, that is the client, and the server should be always in the encrypted way. Whatever the request as a user I'm giving here, that should pass to the server with the encrypted way. There in the server it will be decrypted, and from there the response will be passed to the client with the encrypted way. This is how the things work. From here the encrypted to the server decrypt, from their server encrypted, and on the client side it will be encrypted. In between, if somebody try to hack or manipulate the thing, that will be no use of them, that because that will be only that digital way. Okay, so now the thing is that what we are going to do it, we are going to add one SSL certification. To add SSL certification, so we have one free org free organization, that is Let's Encrypt. They provide you the free certificate certificates, CA certificates, right? And it's been used by multiple providers also, right? So we are going to add one SSL certification for that. For this case, let's go and install Python, right? Nginx we already added. So what we will do, directly we will we will just request using certbot, right? Because we have already added, and we are saying we required the SSL certification for this this domain. So hit enter. It will show you that give asim.com or asim@gmail.com, right? So hit enter, then it will certbot will request let's encrypt organization to issue one certificate for this URL. Okay, so just wait for a few seconds, so it will search. So it's showing that successfully received the certification, and it will already deployed also. Where it have deployed, if you see cat asim, so you're seeing this is the lines which have been added. Okay, this is not created by me, it have only created over here. Okay, because whatever the real IP, remote, everything, right? From here I have not added anything. So this is how you can add. And let's go and validate, does our certificate available over here or no, right? This path is showing the successfully received certificate, and it's saved in this path. So let's use cd command and go to this directory ll. Over here you're seeing that one name directory app asim.com, right? So if you ll over here if you ll over here, you're seeing multiple files, that is cert, chain, full chain, and private.pem, right? Fine, this is successfully added and successfully deployed in the configuration also in Nginx. So how do we validate now? Let me go, and this connection is not secure, right? It should show me that there is a one log pad, so it should be a log pad, right? So if you click over here, yes, it's have restarted. If you click here, okay, if you click here, then you're seeing that on this IP the certificate has been on this URL the certificate has been issued, and the provider is let's encrypt. Okay, it's valid for 3 months. If you check it over here, May to August, and it was issued today in the evening time, because I'm creating in the evening. And the used SSL certification encryption is the SHA 256. Okay, the certificate is a public key is on the client server side, and the private key will be in this hosting. Okay, so let me close it over here. This is how you can create and deploy your application, right? Any application creating CICD pipeline. Let's go and check what we have already covered. So from here we have created one CICD pipeline. From there we have fetched the code from the GitHub, then we have pushed the code, we have taken the code, we have created one Docker file, right? With the Docker file we have created a Docker image. With the Docker image we have created a Docker container. From there Docker container, that is Python app hosted on that. Okay, and we are using users accessing to the browser and acting as a user. So in this between there is a Nginx web server is there, and SSL certification we already complied. So our motive of this tutorial is completed. Okay, don't forget to share, subscribe with your users, and I have multiple projects which is used for your resume and you enhance your knowledge. We have already covered multiple videos. So if you feel this video is worth for you, please don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you very much. Thank you. See you. And don't forget to delete all the resources also. Thank you very much.